Peace, world. Welcome back to another episode of TrimAndTrue, where culture, cuts, and conversations collide in the dopest way possible. I'm your host, Headkrack, and today we're stepping into a chair with some serious ATL legacy vibes. We're posted up at Kenny's shop, an OG in the game, not just for his clean fades, but for the real talk and mentorship that flows through this space. And sitting in the chair today, none other than the legendary DJ Rasta Root, producer, tastemaker, and staple in Atlanta's music scene for decades. From grooming philosophies to life lessons, we're about to get into more than just clippers and styles. So grab a seat, turn the volume up, and let's get into the realness. This is TrimAndTrue. Kenny Jones, you are now in the seat, man. Many people have sat where you sat, but they don't know your story, man. So tell us about yourself. Where you from?
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, but I was raised between Baltimore and Atlanta. When I first moved here, my first best friend was Jermaine Dupri.
Say word.
Yeah, like.
How did y'all link?
Dancing competitions. I think V103 had a Michael Jackson contest, and my parents was in the. He gonna stay here, he gonna stay there. When my father's in Baltimore, my mom got married, moved here. And then I've been friends with a lot of people in the music business, but I've been doing music since a Casio keyboard. And we couldn't afford to get haircuts. So my dad bought me clippers home.
Wow.
So, and my dad worked for the airport, so he helped build the airport. He worked for this engineering company called Russell. And they built the airport, so we stayed off of Godby Road. I don't know if y'all know about Godby Road. Ask somebody about Godby Road in Atlanta. And Jermaine's aunt stayed in the same apartment complex. And so that's another reason why we became friends. And then we're associates now, because as you get older, you grow apart. But we still, when we see each other, it's still all love. And I also grew up with another friend of mine. His name is Kawan Prather.
KP.
Yeah, so me and KP, all of us still tight. And then as I was cutting hair, I cut everybody's hair. And then my dad used to tell me, one hand washes the other. So when I did get a record deal, until your record is out, you gotta have a job. You ain't no starving artists around here. So even though I was putting out, and all my records came out independent, even though I got major deals, the major part kind of like fizzled. So I kept putting my records out independently, and I still have records out now today.
That's dope.
As well as owning a salon. This is my third salon.
Man, entrepreneurship, I tip my hat to you, man. Not everybody, knows how to take those steps to getting it activated. Everybody has ideas, but to be a person of action speaks volumes. I gotta know, who won the dance battle?
I wouldn't say it was JD. No, so I'm gonna say this. Back then when we were young, like whatever y'all see Chris Brown and them do now, we can still do now. Now we might break a leg, literally break a leg, but we can do all of that now. And that's what keeps you young and in the music, like knowing how to produce the music. So
yeah.
Back then I can't remember, but I know that I used to think I danced a little bit better than him, but his dad was working for Columbia Records, so he got a little bit more leeway than I did.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yo, it's crazy because a lot of people don't know, but if you watch the Houdini, the Freaks Come Out at Night video.
And guess what city they in?
Baltimore? Say word.
Yeah.
Yo, and like Jermaine Dupri had the Jerry curl back then, and like, yo, he was like,
popping,
yo, he's hitting the moves, man. Like, yo, he was giving like young Alfonso Ribeiro,
My hair used to be like that.
Oh, you had the Jerry curl?
Not a curl, I had an S curl and it would do it. I ain't have to have a Jerry
That blue
curl.
and white bottle.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
I didn't have to curl it because it was already curly. It just made it more curly.
Oh, so like, so I don't want to say good hair because that's
no, that's not good hair. It's just finer hair. That's all.
Got you. Like, so what's your parents' ethnicity?
Oh, they black. But I think they're black, but my mother has Puerto Rican.
So that's gonna give you that extra swizzle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, off top, yeah.
You know something? No, I'm just playing. You don't know that.
Nah, like my little brother Puerto Rican, so like, yeah, like I always wish I had his hair texture. Like I did to a point, and then all of a sudden, like.
But it's crazy. When I pick my hair out, it looked like a fro.
I mean, because the
Puerto Rico, they us.
Yeah.
We usually get our haircut at the same place. I mean, there's a lot of commonalities there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got the same ops.
Yeah, I don't have the fine hair where it's straight growing out of my head. But yeah, the S curl used to give me the curl look.
That's
And
what's up.
It was the Lionel Richie.
Hey. When did you realize that you had talent with the clippers? Because, you know, a lot of people barber, but not everybody's great at it.
When I started writing designs and writing names in the back of the head, just with the big clippers. The clippers,
not even
liners,
the T-shaped liners.
Not the liners, yeah. I was like, oh, I got this.
That's a special skill. So are you like taking the guard off, obviously, and then like adjusting, like hitting that little switch on the side and zooming the
No, I'm actually making a line, combing the hair, making a line. But I guess you got to know how to draw to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Clearly you know how to draw.
Yeah.
I never really thought about like how important that component is, you know, on the overall scope of things. Like, yeah, you might be able to fade, but it's another thing to be able to like, you know, like what was the thing that you would have to draw the most? Was it mostly names or you do like designs?
It was names and designs, but it was designs first. I used to do the lightning bolt, then I did like stuff, and then I learned how to do like flowers and hearts and stuff like that. And then technology changed when I became older, and they give you the smaller liners, but they don't really cut that much. You got to make a design and then kind of razor it in.
Got you. You know, it's weird. You don't really see a lot of like designs on the back of the head anymore. Like, can we like pinpoint when in time everyone said 1, 2, 3 break? We're not doing that anymore.
Probably after breakdancing.
So that sounds like 86, 87.
Yeah, I mean, I can't recall, but I know people were more artistic in the 80s, and they became cool in the 90s, you know, gangster, hip-hop.
Yeah, okay. So maybe we could do the RIP date around 89, because I will, even though I said 86, 87, I do recall MC Search from Third Base had the words Third Base carved in the back of his head on the cover of the Cactus album.
So when everybody became gangsters, in New York they always had the fade with the C part, but I think when gangster rap came in, that's when that kind of went out.
Yo, it's wild like how a lot of these gangsters had to go to salons to get their hair done.
Crazy.
I feel your frequency, my brother, so that's real in the field.
I appreciate that, man.
It seems like your client, Rasta Root just walked in, so we got to get him in his chair, and we're going to chop it up and see what's going on with y'all personal dynamic.
All right.
Yo, Root, what up, G?
Zills.
All right, so today's guest is not only like a visionary, but he's also the sound provider, a beacon of dope energy, and an all-around good human being. The one, the only, Rasta Root. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, doing
Thanks
great,
for the
man.
illustrious introduction. I appreciate you.
Hey, yo, listen, man, there's so many things that could be said about you, man. I remember the first time I came to MJQ, or one of the first times, and you was rocking out, and it is so rare to see people dancing at parties these days, because everybody comes to parties, look cool, hold my phone up and take a picture of me at the party and not be in the party.
Sure.
But yo, you have a way of like sonically taking people's mind off everything and allowing them to have a good time, and it's a lost art.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure. I think that's one of the things I focused on, is creating like a tapestry of different songs and blending them together, so people don't think about their phone. They don't think about even going to the bathroom sometime. Like if you look at the end of the night at MJQ, you'll see like weave, pieces of weave, a shoe, a bra cutlet. I mean, it's crazy. So, you know, if any reward, that's the reward, is that people come out, have fun, and go home tired.
That is a weird reward, but like it definitely is a sign of a good job.
For
like
sure.
anytime you leave like party debris,
For sure.
like laying around the venue, it was a good ass night.
Yeah.
And then also with your work that you've done with legendary artists in the culture, also notably Phife Dawg, and keeping his legacy alive, man. How did you and Phife Dawg meet?
So it's funny you say that. We met, originally we met in 1994. I graduated from Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania, and Tribe came to do some type of spring concert, and they called me back, because I graduated in 93. They called me back to interview them. So I have a video of me interviewing Phife and Q-Tip at the radio station at my college. I showed Phife the tape, and he had no recollection of it, which is obviously done so many interviews.
Right.
But maybe fast forward 3 years, coming back, moving to Atlanta from Japan, I got a call to work on some scratches on a record with a producer named Kalfani, and He said it was for Fife from Tribe, and they just broken up, so he was working on solo stuff. And I went in, and I knew he was looking for a DJ. I knew his previous DJ had been fired, so I went in with the mindset of, I'm gonna be his DJ. Unfortunately, that didn't work out at that moment, but we did connect on a cultural vibe because his family's from Trinidad and so is mine.
Ah.
Yeah, so we talked and, laughed and joked and did the accents and all that stuff. And then 6 months later, I got a call, and he had a show at University of Maryland, College Park, and he asked about me and went to his house, and then it's kind of the beginning of the story there.
Man, see what happens when you leave an amazing impression on people?
For sure,
and,
man.
And I'm sure that's not the first or last time
sure.
you've done that, like, with the things that you do. And now here we are in the barbershop. You about to get your fresh on. How did you and Kenny link up?
So Kenny and I linked up. His brother was a rapper promoter named Troy Gunn. And way back in the day, they had an event called Resurrection. And they had it at a place called Samba Reptile. So it was... Drama was spinning, I was spinning, and they had all these MCs, and they were battling. Four Eyes, I think Four Eyes won that one.
Okay.
And I remember walking up to the bar, and his brother, Troy, introduced me to him, and Kenny had cornrows back then. He was leaning on the bar, thought he was cool as whatever. He's like, what's up? And, we talked, and that's my first meeting with him. And then from there, over the years, bumping into him here and there, and we just kind of clicked, and then from there, we just became friends, and then years after that, he became my barber.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, far as designing your look and keeping everything maintained and fresh, what was it about Kenny's approach that, molded well with you and made you realize that this is the guy?
It's funny you say that because just a few weeks ago, I got my hair cut, and he said, I watch you and I watch your movement in your career, the looks you go for, what you wear, the shoes, and I try to match that with or suggest how your hair should look. And I thought that was interesting that he takes that introspective look in my actual look and helps me brand myself. So I trust him. We go back and forth, and someone will be like, can we do it this way? And he'll tell me why he shouldn't do it this way. And I usually, concede because he's the professional, obviously.
People don't really look at it with those same optics. A lot of times barbers are like stylists.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they clearly are, right? But, you do have to match that up top look with the things that you're doing in a fashion sense as well. So getting that marriage together super duper works.
For sure.
For people who don't understand the complexity of the outward appearance and just being a public figure, how important is your style and look to what you do and keeping that curated?
Definitely. I try to look as fresh as I can when I have events, when I'm out in the public, even if stepping out my door, nothing crazy, but definitely, make sure my nails are clipped right, and that first impression is important. It always, to me, is important, and first, second, third, fourth impression is important. So I just try to make sure that whoever I am as a DJ at that time, I present that same look, and just keep it fresh, fly. I don't want to be like the older DJ trying to look young in the skinny jeans. That's not going to work for me. But I try to be reasonable with my fashion approach. And Kenny's a big part of that with the top.
No, and it seems like there's no accident there, because when I think of people who are stylish within that realm, even in a t-shirt, I don't know, there's just something about the way you put your ensembles together.
Sure.
It just works, very fashion forward, and it's it's the Rasta Root look.
For sure, and it's funny you say that because Fife would always call it his uniform. It'd be like a New York cap, denim outfit, and whatever shoes he had on, and he'd always say, my uniform has to be right, And when he passed away, the hotel we stayed at when we were recording the Tribe album, they didn't even know it was him. He was so low key, but they said he always looked sharp. You know what I mean? That's the one thing they said. Oh, that's who it was? He always looked sharp because his uniform was tight.
Man, so when you think about it in the far and large, a lot of times, you walk into a shop, on a day where it's time to get trimmed up, maybe your confidence or your swag level is at a here, but when you leave, it's now here. How much does that change your attitude and mood? From the time you come into the shop and the time you walk out after you just got
it definitely
crispy.
does, because, your barber or your hairstylist is also your hype man, you know what I mean? He gives you the confidence. He says, you look good, you look young. And, Kenny and I have a thing where whenever he does my beard or my hair, at the end, he'll say, you ready? I was like, yeah. And that's it. It's it sets off the day,
It's hey, man, you're now ready to perform.
Yep, for sure.
What keeps you coming back other than the obvious? He definitely knows what he's doing. He understands your look. But Is it the conversation? Is it the ambiance? You know?
I think it's everything. It's the conversation, it's the ambiance, it's the camaraderie, it's the brotherhood. It's when I'm going through something or he's going through something, we exchange ideas, we support each other, we've cried together, you know what I mean? Like, it's family. So beyond the hair and beyond the music, we're family. It's like my brother.
That's real. You know, like, you know, one of the commonalities in a lot of these interviews we've been doing is just like the fact that, you know, a lot of times barbers know more about us than our friends, our loved ones, and all that other good stuff. And, you know, you can come through and like really truly let your shoulders down and just have, you know, unfiltered conversations.
Absolutely.
Like when you think about growing up in Trinidad, like how long were you there before you moved here?
I was conceived in Trinidad. I was born in Canada.
Oh!
But I've lived in 7 or 8 different countries until here, so that's hard to say, but I mean, I've had some messed up haircuts just because there's no barbers in Brazil or wherever I was. So
okay, I was about to say,
appreciate
like,
it, Kenny.
what country fumbled the look the hardest?
I would say, to be honest with you, when I moved back to the States, I moved to Maryland, Maryland, D.C. area, and I was going to go to a military school called St. John's College High School for my last year of high school. And that summer I was playing soccer, so my sister dropped me off to soccer, and her boyfriend at the time was like, yeah, he needs a haircut. Let's take him to Supercuts. And yeah, it was bad. I have a picture of it actually, me at soccer camp, and it's like a Marine recruit, no fade. It's just like, you know, so that really kind of like, you know, stung a lot, you know what I mean? Because I was new in the school, I had this weird haircut, you know, talk with a different accent because we lived in other countries. And so I'll never forget that. And so bringing it full circle, you know, having someone who takes care of your hair and your look and understands how important that is and help you with your confidence is another reason why I come back here.
That's real. Yeah. I remember like one of the first times I went to LA and I didn't know where like real LA was because they had me staying like downtown, like, you know, to the point we don't really see too many of us, right?
Yep.
And I ended up at Supercuts and top 3 worst haircuts I have ever, like how you fumble a beard trim? You know what I'm saying?
Now we're brothers.
Yo, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We can start a support group.
Yeah.
Trauma bond.
Yo,
you know, a lot of times amazing conversations happen in the barbershop as well. Like, what's one gem or, you know, word of wisdom that you walked out of a barbershop with that you heard either, like, you know, your barber or somebody else say?
I mean, more so than anything here, because I've been coming here for so long, it's sometimes when your confidence is a little lower, even if it's like a little bit, a smidge lower, coming in and talking to your barber or Kenny and him just without even knowing he's doing it is telling you like, yo, you got this. You're the shit. You know what I mean? And we talk about face off and how he pays attention to the crowd. Or I'll do an event at Buckhead Theater, I think it was, and I was spinning and he said, his friend said, yo, that's your boy, and he's dope, And to hear that is a good feedback, you know what I mean? And it's honest. And when it's not good, I like hearing the truth anyway. So if there's something that's not right, I like hearing that too. And we're straight shooters with each other, so we don't hold any punches.
That's dope. You know, when you was growing up and like, you know, just like looking at different people within the culture, was there somebody whose hairstyle you idolized?
I'm gonna have to finish.
All right.
Big Daddy Kane, of course.
All right, come on. Did you have the parts?
I didn't have the parts. My box didn't look like his flat top, but his was perfect to me.
But did you do the eyebrow parts?
Never did.
Okay,
My mom
cool.
was like, you crazy.
It's
No
not for
blonde,
everybody.
no Kwame, nothing. No, if I could get the flat top, high top fader. He used to call it the cameo, but his was to me the epitome, and he was so smooth too. So
Precision.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And his dancer was his barber, so he always stayed fresh.
Yo, like what was the worst hairstyle that you rocked with, and how long did you rock with it?
The worst hairstyle I rock. This was before I grew my dreads. Someone told me to do like not an S curl, but one of those things, and I think I left it in too long, and it looked crazy. I looked like I was in a Malcolm X movie. When he put the conch in his hair.
Yeah, when it was Detroit Red.
Yeah. Luckily it was summertime, so I could wear a cap, and it wasn't in school. But I went and researched, put mayonnaise in your hair to get the lye or whatever out of it, or the relaxer out of it, and slowly went sure that it came back. But that was the worst because it looked
so
crazy.
When you got the curls, was it the yellow and red bottle or the white and blue
That I don't
bottle?
remember. All I know is it wasn't curls. My hair was straight.
Oh.
It was supposed to be curly, but I think I left it in too long, so it was just like.
Fried dye laid to the side.
Yeah. I look like Dave Chappelle when he played the white.
No, that's a hell of a visual.
Yeah.
All right, so you did the curl, you had the cane box. Like, you know, as far as like, you know, old styles, you know, because sometimes, you know, things recycle back and come back around. Which style would you love to see come back?
I I think the box. I think the cameo for sure.
Yo, it had such a resurgence. Like
It
there was like some
did.
point in like in the
With
early
the super,
2000s.
super, what do they call yeah, they did for sure. They had the young cats rocking in the gold chain. That was fun.
There was some kids out of New York, like I think it was
Yeah.
called like the retro kids or
Yep.
something like that.
Yep,
yeah, I wonder how they look now, you know, because
Yeah.
sometimes Father Time will push it back
Yeah,
and you
for
gotta
sure.
like, you know, you
Yeah,
gotta do a
it's different.
smaller
It's
box.
different, yep, exactly.
It's different.
But that'd be the one. That's to me that because it epitomizes for me the '90s, the music I was into, just moving to the States, and then kind of, you know, culturally what was going on, and it was a symbol of power too. You know what I mean? I always cut my cousin's hair, and I would cut out shapes of Nefertiti's.
Oh, dope.
You know, and then put in the back of it and shave around it, just, you know, to embrace the culture. So I do miss that for sure.
Do you still have those skills?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't know. And if you want, I can cut your hair. You can see.
I mean, there's not.
Supercuts Part 2.
Oh, no, we don't want to run that back. Not everything deserves a sequel.
For sure. Nah, for sure.
You know, this is also a place for some of the greatest debates. What is like some of the greatest debates that you've ever seen like happen or take place within a barbershop?
I mean, usually it's about music. What album was better than this? What artist was better than this? But the recent one we had was obviously like the whole Diddy situation. You know what I mean? And who was right, who was wrong, and all those kind of things. And that was been the biggest debate. And that's a debate I've seen in other barbershops. Obviously, it's the talk, or was the talk for a while. But I like to keep it more music. You know what I mean? Like production-wise. What producer did what and who was better, who sequenced what better. That to me is fun because, you know, you can be put in your place and you can be checked, you know?
Yeah.
You might think, oh yeah, DJ Premier is the best producer, but then someone might come and say Jay Dilla is or something like that, and then they back it up, you know, so.
Like that's like war-inducing.
Yeah. No, for sure.
In certain rooms.
For sure.
We'll keep it in music real briefly. There's a popular debate going on right now about 100 men versus one gorilla and who would win. Let's just say if you could take one rap artist and clone them 100 times and put them against that same gorilla, who do you think has the best chance of pulling it off?
That's a really good question. Has to be a rapper?
I mean, well,
That's fine if you can.
Well, you know what? It could be somebody else in the music space because
In the
usually,
music
like,
space,
because
okay.
usually in the gladiator realm, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, usually it mostly goes to rappers. There's not like too many like tough R&B dudes.
Yeah. That's a really good question, man. I would say honestly, I mean, I'd go way back in his prime. I'd say 100 Freddie Foxes.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Like, wow.
Yeah, 100 Freddie Foxes. I remember one time I was at a show at a Variety Playhouse, and it was him, Tech and Steel, and a couple other artists, and he was outside, and we were talking, and I was talking to the rappers, getting drops, and he just goes like this. He goes, "It's good weather to fight." For no reason, he just said that. He just said out of the blue to himself. And he kind of and that's why I say that, and I never forget that story.
I believe that. Like one of my like favorite memories of Freddie Fox, there was a video. It was like off his very first album. It was like, and there was a scene where like he clamped his forearms on the side of like a hot pot, like they used to do in the martial art films, and lift it up. And I felt like he did it.
Yeah, I think
I don't think it was a stunt.
When I experienced that, I was like, I am not saying. I didn't get a drop from him. I didn't talk to him. I just saw him in his own little world say what he said, and that was it. So I would take him over 100 him versus the gorilla for sure.
You might even be able to get away with just 50.
Bumpy knuckles for a reason. They call him bumpy knuckles for a reason.
Yo, for real.
Man, what a powerful episode. Big salute to Kenny for not just being a master with the Clippers, but for using that chair to build confidence, conversation, and community. And to DJ Rasta Root, thank you for reminding us what it means to evolve with purpose, staying grounded, and keeping culture alive through creativity.